You know that one person who walks in, looks at whatever disaster just happened, a leaking pipe, a dead car battery, a corrupted file, a full emotional spiral, and just goes quiet for a moment. They don't panic or instantly start Googling it with shaking hands. They just think, and then they begin doing something about it. And you're standing there wondering what's wrong with you that your first reaction was to cry. So what is it that actually sets these people apart from the rest of us? It's not really experience. And once you understand this, you'll begin noticing it everywhere. Let's go back to something psychologist Albert Bandura identified in the late 1970s, a concept called self-efficacy. Stripped of all the academic language is just your belief that you are capable of dealing with what's in front of you. Not a general optimism, it's very specific. It's the feeling of, I've dealt with things before, and this thing in front of me can be managed too. Bandura discovered that this belief by itself can strongly affect how long a person keeps working on a problem before giving up, and how much effort they put in it when things become difficult. So what created people like this in the first place? That's where it becomes personal. Think about what happens the very first time a child tries to fix something, really tries, and it actually works. Even if it's something small, they wiggle the wire and the lamp turns on. They restart the computer and it works again. They put pressure on the cut and the bleeding stopped. That moment changes something inside them, and it has nothing to do with the lamp or the cut itself. It changes the way they see themselves in relation to problems. Suddenly, the world is no longer just something that happens to them. It's something they can reach into and change. And every time after that, when something breaks, their nervous system doesn't go into shutdown mode. Instead, it moves into a kind of quiet curiosity like, oh, this is a puzzle. I've solved puzzles before. Bandura described these moments as mastery experiences, and research consistently ranks them as the single most powerful source of self-efficacy there is. Not being told you're capable, not watching somebody else do it, actually doing it yourself. That is what stays with you. It becomes a learned relationship with uncertainty. Julian Rotter spent years researching what he called locus of control, the degree to which a person believes their own actions shape outcomes rather than luck or fate. And people who sit firmly on the internal side of that scale don't just do better at fixing things. They're also less likely to develop depression. They deal with stress in ways that don't involve completely dismantling their lives. They keep going. It's been found across different cultures and age groups. The feeling that your effort actually matters is apparently one of the most protective psychological traits a person can have. But most of these people weren't born this way. It began with very specific moments, usually in childhood, where somebody either handed them agency or left them no choice but to find it themselves. Sometimes it was a parent who said, I'm not going to tell you the answer, I'm going to help you work it out. And sometimes it was a parent who wasn't there to help at all, so the child learned to help themselves. Both paths lead to the same place. Now, a part that's quite surprising because it looks like confidence from the outside, but in reality, it's something completely different. When a fixer steps into a broken situation, they are not sure everything will work out. They do not have some magical guarantee. They feel the same uncertainty you feel. What's different is that the uncertainty doesn't feel like a judgment to them. It feels more like a starting point. There's a psychological concept for this: tolerance of ambiguity, the ability to stay inside a situation where you don't yet know the answer and not completely fall apart while you figure it out. People who have difficulty with ambiguity need resolution quickly. They need to know, right in that moment, that everything is going to be okay. And when they can't get that reassurance, the anxiety takes over and they freeze, or simply pass the problem to the person who looks calm and slowly step back. The fixer in your life, somewhere along the way they learn to be okay in that uncomfortable in-between space. Okay, let's pause. I want to be honest about something because I think this video would be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention it. Some people who know how to fix everything, and I mean everything, practically, emotionally, logistically, for everyone around them, sometimes are not doing it from a place of real strength. Some of them learned to fix things because it was how they earned their place. The approval was in the solution. At some point in their lives, standing there helpless was genuinely risky, so their nervous system decided, I will never be powerless like that again. And that's more of a coping strategy wearing a superpowers costume. The tell is when you ask them to let somebody else handle something. They physically cannot calm down. They're hovering. They're offering unsolicited suggestions. They need the problem to be fixable, not just for your sake, since an unfixed thing somewhere in their environment feels like an unfixed thing inside of them. But then there is another type, and this is the one that's really worth talking about. The person who fixes things from genuine curiosity, because broken things truly fascinate them. The gap between something not working and finally working is one of the most fascinating places in the world to them. These people will tear apart something they already fixed just to understand it more deeply. They ask questions that have no practical use. They'll explain what went wrong with a level of detail that no one asked for, delighted, like they just discovered something beautiful. These are the people who fell in love with competence itself. Not just the result, but the process, the act of figuring things out. Spending time around people like that is one of the most recalibrating experiences you can do for yourself. Because what they show you, without even meaning to, is that not knowing how to do something is only a temporary state. Broken is not a permanent state, that you can put your hands on a problem and actually change it. You might be sitting here realizing you are one of these people and you've never really thought about why. Or you may be realizing you're not, and that the idea of being this way feels genuinely unfamiliar to you. And if it's the second one, I want to say something directly to you. The reason you outsource your broken things is not a character flaw. It's a history, a collection of experiences that taught you that problems are things that happen to you rather than the other way around. And that is not permanent either. The whole structure of self-efficacy, Bandura's entire argument, is that it grows through experience. Small wins, tiny moments of, I tried and it worked. Not huge, heroic solutions, just that you tightened the screw, you made the call. You didn't sit there waiting for someone to save you. That's where it begins. But understanding why you're wired this way is only part of it. The harder part is actually doing something with that understanding. Because awareness without structure has a way of just becoming more material for your mind to loop over. And your job is not to repair every crack, but to learn how to move peacefully through an imperfect world. So, after hearing all this, what kind of fixer do you think you are? Do you fix things from simple, genuine curiosity? Or are you quietly exhausting yourself by carrying everyone's problems as a survival mechanism? Apex Mind Psychology would truly love to hear your story. What is the hardest thing you've ever tried to repair? Was it a broken device or another person's emotions? Share your experience in the comments. Apex Mind Psychology is always here to talk with you. And no matter who you are, remember this. Being good at solving problems is a strength, but don't let it turn you into a prisoner of control. You do not need to be constantly useful in order to deserve love and appreciation. If this video helped you understand yourself, or someone close to you a little clearly, give this channel a like and subscribe so we can keep exploring the hidden layers of the human mind together. I'm Apex Mind Psychology. Keep using your abilities to make your life better, but also learn to accept the things that cannot be fixed, or simply don't need to be fixed. Because sometimes allowing things to break naturally is actually the most important kind of maintenance your nervous system can receive. Live fully in the present moment, and goodbye for now. See you in the next video.